Asọdún inú àwúrọ̀ dẹkùn lálẹ́.
Asọdún inú àwúrọ̀ dẹkùn lálẹ́.
Torí pé kú kì í ṣàpẹẹrẹ oore.
Ẹkún kì í ṣàpẹẹrẹ oore.
Gbogbo ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi tó lè fòṣe sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi tó lè fòṣe sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Lọ́hùn má jẹ́ ń sunkún nú Sàtíà má jẹ́ ń fara sunkún Yárábì má jẹ́ ń sunkún ọ̀kan àtẹ̀kùn nú àtẹ̀kùn òde ẹkún àdásùn ẹkún àjọsùn Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ń sun kan bẹ́ o má jẹ́ káyé fẹ́ kún dá mi mà ká má sọ pé tèmi ti bá mi.
Ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi tó lè fòṣe sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ìgbà iṣẹ́ mi má dojú bolẹ̀ kókó òwò mi má di parun irinṣẹ́ mi má dojú ìjà kọ mí kí n má farúgbó ara wa kan ṣe má jẹ́ ńlálẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ alẹ́ má jẹ́ ń sunkún kí n tó jẹun.
Ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi tó lè fòṣe sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Àìsàn tó lè fẹ́ kú sọ mi Ọlọ́run tilẹ̀kùn máa lọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ má bá ìsàsáyà fún mi má bá ìsàsọ́mọ fún mi àwọn ẹbí mi tí wọ́n ń fẹ́ mi àtòlólùfẹ́ tí wọ́n ń fẹ́ mi Ọlọ́run má máa tẹ̀wọ̀n tì mí kí má lọ kí má bọ̀ lórí ẹkún má jẹ́ ń fò séyọrí ẹkún mi.
Ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi
Ọlọ́run ṣe
sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Orí ẹyẹ ní mọ̀gún orí aláìsẹ̀ sóhun lọ́pọ̀ o àrífẹsẹ̀ ṣe ò ká máìlì Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ń bọ́wọ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ohun tó lè fàrífẹsẹ̀ sí Ọlọ́run dákun làmì bẹ̀ o ogun àkóbá ogun àdàbá wàláhì ó tó panilẹ́kún bàràkọ́ọ̀tù lójoojúmọ́ òní ẹjọ́ ọ̀la ọ̀ràn wá ti náwó pẹ̀lú wàhálà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó nítọ̀wọ̀ mọ́wọ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó nítọ̀wọ̀ mẹsẹ̀ Ọlọ́run dákun wá kó wa yọ.
Ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi tó lè fòṣe sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Kégbèrè ó sunkún kòkó nira bá kégbèrè ó sunkún kòkó nira bá àmúwá ti ẹni yẹn látọ̀run Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ rógùn ẹkún Sàtíà má jẹ́ rógùn òṣè báyé bá ẹni ká dákẹ́ ẹkún tí ń ṣe ni òfin nílẹ̀ o ìgbà wo nílé ayé fi sú ni Ọlọ́run má jẹ́lé ayé ó sú mi má jẹ́ ń bínú para mi.
Ohun tó lè fẹ́ kú lọ́rọ̀ mi tó lè fòṣe sínú ayé mi Ọlọ́run yí padà kó sọ ọ́ dẹ̀yìn ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ọlọ́run wò mí wò èmi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ṣe sùúrù mi ò lójú ẹkún.
Ìdánidìínà àtijẹ́ ni onítọ̀hún lè pa ni ẹni dìínà àtijẹ́ ni onítọ̀hún lè pa ni ẹni àpè kó wá jẹun tó tún mú ni lọ́wọ́ dání irú ẹni yòówù tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá nírú wọn ọ̀bọ Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ ẹ́ kó wá là mí lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Ẹni dínà àtijẹ́ ni onítọ̀hún lè pa ni ẹni dínà àtijẹ́ ni onítọ̀hún lè pa ni
dànù
ẹni àpè kó wá jẹun tó tún mú ni lọ́wọ́ dání irú ẹni yòówù tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá nírú wọn ọba Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ kó wá là mí lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Orogún òwò orogún bú ṣe bórogún wàhálà ni orogún òwò orogún tó le ṣe bórogún fìtínà ni orogún bó bá ó pa bó bá ó bú lẹ́sẹ̀ ni orogún gbẹ̀mí mi ò tètè mọ̀ mi ò dẹ̀ fura orogún òwò náà ń bá mi ṣe ẹni bá mi sorogún òwò èyí tí mo máa tèyí tí ń lè jẹ́
ọ̀tá nírú wọn. Ọba Ọlọ́run mo wá ń bẹ̀.
ó wá là mí lọ́wọ́. wòsàndèmí o wòsàndèmí wòsàndèmí tá a máa ní ìgbà kan bó ní sọ̀bà dẹ̀ ti ṣe lẹ́sẹ̀ kan ní wòsàndèmí dìde ayé ti dojú kẹta wòsàndèmí tí ń bẹ ní sẹ́yìn wọn ò tiẹ̀ wòsàndó ní sọ̀mọ́ bó ní sọ̀bà ti dìde bí kò ní sọ̀ ó má ṣe jókòó má bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń ṣe wòsàndèmí bí kò ní sọ̀ ọlọ́kọ̀ má darí bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń ṣe wòsàndèmí bí kò ní sọ̀ ó sùn kó má ṣe jí bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń ṣe wòsàndèmí bí kò ní sọ̀ ó fi sọ lẹ́ni bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń ṣe wòsàndèmí ìka kan ló ń nà sẹ́nìkan mọ́kàndínlógún bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ irú ènìyàn òun tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá irú wọn ọba Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ kó wá là mí lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Ẹni dínà àti jẹ́ ní onítọ̀hún lè
MTN Music máa gbọ́.
Ẹni dínà àti jẹ́ ní onítọ̀hún lè
ọmọ ya lóbi náà ó fi kí o.
Ẹni àpè
kó wá jẹun tó tún mú mi lọ́wọ́.
ẹni òun tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá nírú wọn. Ọba Ọlọ́run mo
wà ń bẹ̀.
wá là mí lọ́wọ́ wọn.
bó sì ń lé wọn kó yẹ kéré bó sì lọ́jà wọn pàṣọ ẹ̀dá ìṣe tí wọ́n nìyẹn nínú ọjà aráàánú ọjà báyìí lẹ̀ ṣe ẹni sún fún yín pé ẹ jókòó lẹ́ ń sáré àti lè dìde aráàánú ọjà báyìí lẹ̀ ṣe ẹni fún ẹ lọ́jà kó fi bàṣírí tó fẹ́ sọ́dọ̀ ní gbèsè aráàánú ọjà báyìí lẹ̀ ṣe ẹni mú ẹ máa nà débi kan ló ń sáré àti dínà mọ́ aráàánú ọjà báyìí lẹ̀ ṣe ẹni ní kó arajà tó ń yá kọjá yìí ló ń yá lórí igbá ló débẹ̀ lọ́ba tí ẹ jẹ́ aráàánú ọjà báyìí lẹ̀ ṣe ọlọ́run òye lọ́ba ẹlẹ́sàn irú ènìyàn òun tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá irú ọba lọ́hùn mo wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n bọ̀ lọ́hùn mo wà bẹ́ẹ̀ sáfíàmà ni mo wà bẹ́ẹ̀ kó wá lámì lọ́wọ́ dédé wọn.
Ẹni dínà àti jẹ́ ní onítọ̀hún
ó kúkú lè pani.
Ẹni dínà àti jẹ́ ní onítọ̀hún lè pani. Ẹni àpè kó wá jẹun tó tún mú ní lọ́wọ́ dání. Irú ẹni òun tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá nírú wọn. Ọba Ọlọ́run mo wá ń bẹ̀ kó wá là mí lọ́wọ́ wọn.
ayé ló dáyé tó táyé wò tó ní kí Kẹ́hìndé máa bọ̀ wá Kẹ́hìndé wá délé ayé tán ara ayé ń pè wọ́n ní ìbejì bó ti wù ká jẹ́ bèjì tó ìwà wọn ò mà lè papọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n lọ́kọ́ délé ayé tó ní kábúrò òun ó máa bọ̀ wá àbúrò wa délé ayé tán àyẹ̀lé ẹ̀gbọ́n ló kúkú jẹ́ ènì ní ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ̀ ló ń ṣe ìbàjẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ̀ ló ń ṣe àbòsí ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ̀ ló ń ṣe kiri ó tún bá àwọn dìtẹ̀mẹ́gbọ́n rẹ̀ ó wá ń wọ ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀bí kó ṣubú táwọn bàbá ti ṣàdúrà fún mi ṣé wàá mọ̀ dù bàbá bì kan wọ́n ti ní rèébè kan kì í ṣubú wọ́n ti ní mi ò ní ṣubú òun ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ̀ bí kò parẹ́ táwọn bàbá ti ṣàdúrà kò mí ṣé wọ́n má jìdí nílé òkè wọ́n ti ní mi ò ní parẹ́ péré ebè kì í mọ ìparẹ́ àbúrò tó bá rorú ẹ̀ ṣẹ́gbọ́n rẹ̀ ọmọ ẹ̀yà tó rorú ẹ̀ síra wọn ọlá ìgbà yàtọ̀ ti jọ mú yan tù ẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi ṣètù ẹ̀ fún irú ẹni òun tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá irú wọn ọba lọ́hùn mo wà bẹ́ẹ̀ kó wá là mí lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Ẹni dínà àti jẹ́ ní onítọ̀hún
ó lè pani.
Ẹni dínà àti jẹ́ ní
ẹlẹ́dàá ìyá bàbá máa kó mi ọ̀dà rọ̀ ni
ẹni àpè kó wá
apẹlẹ́gbẹ̀ lẹ́yìn
jẹun
mi
tó tún mú ní
rabóníjú lẹ́yìn mi àná.
irú ẹni òun tó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá nírú wọn. Ọba Ọlọ́run mo wá ń bẹ̀ kó wá là mí lọ́wọ́.
ṣẹ́gbọ́n ń ta jẹ yàtọ̀ ń ta ṣe kárò ń jẹ ká lè rò ń jẹ ṣé torí àtijẹ àti mú la fi ń ṣàbòsí síra wa nítorí àtijẹ àti mú la dẹ̀ fi ń ṣèbàjẹ́ ara wa nítorí àtijẹ àti mú lọ́mọ èèyàn fi ń sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ bẹ́ẹ̀ni àmọ̀rí ìbáàkú àmọ̀rí gangan owó rẹ̀ níran nítorí àtijẹ òun àti mú lọ́mọ èèyàn fi ń sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ olórí ẹbí ìbáàkú kí nǹkan kan sá ti máa ṣe òun àwùjọ ìdọ́sàrọ̀ ní sẹ́yìn máa ń tó lórí ẹbí òun gángan fi ń ṣe súra ni. Ọlọ́run má ṣe mí lórí ẹbí tó ń fọwọ́ mẹ́wẹ̀ẹ̀wá jẹun gbogbo ẹni tó bá rorò ẹrù mi wàṣàyẹ kúnnù làkún máa bọ́dí yẹsùn bìnà ṣìrọ̀wọ́ àjàrọ̀ bìbí sí mi láyé rahamani àìsùn ní mi ní ìwúyú ní nàásì kùlì mi bìkúlì àwùsù bìrọ̀ bílí fàlàkì wà nàásì àwọn bìkúlì àwùsù bìrọ̀ bí nàásì wàlí fàlàkì Allahu yukirimu ma arada kamati wayu inu rabbi ma arada awani òṣùpá
ẹni dínà ti dẹni onítọ̀hún lè pàdé ẹni dínà ti dẹni onítọ̀hún lè pàdé
dànù.
ẹni àpèkó àjẹun tó tún mú
Ọlọ́run bá mi lọ bàbá wa gẹ̀rẹ́ wá sí ìrọ̀kẹ́ òṣèlú wa ká máa lọ.
tánírù wọn
Àmín.
ọba Ọlọ́run wà bẹ́ẹ̀ kó wá láàmì lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Kí ni wọ́n fi ṣẹ̀san oore? Kí ni wọ́n fi ṣẹ̀san oore? Báwọn bàbá tó sọ mí dà báyìí táṣe púpọ̀ nínú ayé mi tó bá jẹ́ ti wá sí wọ́n ń pabúrì ìdọ̀ṣàrọ̀ ni master of ceremony o tó bá jẹ̀náwó tó bá kẹnu wọ́n ń pabúrì ìdọ̀ṣàrọ̀ ni tó bá jẹ́ torin kíkọ àfihàn ló pàdé fún gbàdẹ̀ ṣe ń kọ́ mọ́ ní kéwú bẹ́ẹ̀ la tún ń kọ́ wọn láyé pé àwọn bàbá tó wá ṣèrú èyí bí má lè ṣẹ̀san oore fún wọn mi ò dẹ̀ ní fi ibi sólóore.
dínà ti dẹni onítọ̀hún lè
ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́.
ẹni dínà ti dẹni onítọ̀hún lè
láàrin ayé lọ́wọ́ jọ sí i
ẹni
èkó wá jẹun
tó tún mú
máa ń tẹ́kí náà kó máa kalẹ̀ kó máa ró
yòówù
tó lè jẹ́ tánírù wá.
ọba Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ kó wá láàmì lọ́wọ́.
mo ní ọba Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ kó wá láàmì lọ́wọ́ wa.
ọba Ọlọ́run
apá ayé tẹ̀sán mọ́ wọn létí.
wá láàmì lọ́wọ́.
Ìgbẹ́ ọba Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ kó wá láàmì lọ. Mo ti rí omele.
Ọlọ́run mo wà ń bẹ̀ kó wá láàmì lọ́wọ́.
Ọyá bàbá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Màmá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Jẹ́hùn rámà mi kí inú mi ó dùn. Má fi mí pa àwọn tó bí mi lẹ́kún. Sàtí àmọ́ jẹ́ ń sunkún ọmọ.
Ìyá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Bàbá mi ń wò mí
Inú ẹ̀ ń dùn.
Rámọ̀ mi kínú mi ó dùn. Má fi mí pa àwọn tó bí mi lẹ́kún. Sàtì àmàjẹ́ sunkún ọmọ.
Ìyá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Bíbí náà bí mi jẹun bí tèmi. Ọlọ́run má ṣe mí ní sàkàbùlà tó máa sáná tí ò ní jó. Ṣèbí tó bí mi ló mọ̀ ń jò yìí. Tí bá sàtèmi dákun jẹ́ òjò ni. Jẹ́ tèmi yóò jò lára ọmọ.
Ìyá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn.
Inú ìyá yẹn ń dùn wọ́n fi bàyá mi lẹ́kọ̀ọ́.
Rámọ̀ mi
Inú mi yóò dùn, inú mi yóò
àwọn tó
dùn.
bí mi lẹ́kún. Sàtì àmàjẹ́ sunkún ọmọ.
Bàbá mi wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Ẹni tí rọ́mọ rẹ̀ ti ń dunnú. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí dùnnú wọn ó dalẹ̀. Tó bá dalẹ̀ ọmọ ni kó sí wọn. Tọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ní fọ́tò tí wọ́n yà. Ọlọ́run má fa fọ́tò wọn yà. Bá ti fẹ́ kó rí nílé wa. Jẹ́ orí bẹ́ẹ̀ nínú ilé wọn. Wọ́n ti fẹ́ kó rí nílé wọn. Jẹ́ orí bẹ́ẹ̀ nínú ilé wa.
Ìyá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Bàbá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Rámọ̀ mi kínú
Inú mi ó dùn.
má fi mí pa àwọn tó bí mi lẹ́kún. Sàtì àmàjẹ́ sunkún ọmọ.
Ọmọ tó pawó ni ẹ òyìn Ọlọ́run ṣe mí lọ́mọ tó pawó má ṣe mí lọ́mọ tí jẹ́rú má ṣe mí lọ́mọ pàpàlági má ṣe mí lọ́mọ pọ̀ bí ọ̀sán bọ́ kọ́mọ sọ̀rọ̀ tínú lórí mi nítorí yóò sì ta ẹ̀bẹ̀gbẹ́ pé nítorí yóò sì ta ẹ̀bẹ̀gbẹ́ pé kákọ̀bí ọmọ má dàbí gbẹ̀yìn kábí gbẹ̀yìn má dàbí àkọ́bí kámọ́ fẹ́ lomi ọ̀pọ̀ mi Ọlọ́run ọba ìwọ ní mẹ́ẹ̀ka ìmọ̀ fi nọ́mbà mi bú mi.
Ìyá mi ń wò mí inú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Bàbá mi ń wò mí rámọ̀ mi kínú mi ó dùn. Má fi mí pa àwọn tó bí mi lẹ́kún. Sàtì àmàjẹ́ sunkún ọmọ.
Ọmọ tó yanjú ni ti bàbá ẹ̀ Ọlọ́run ṣe mí lọ́mọ tó yanjú ẹbí mi ó mọ̀ pé mo yanjú ara mi ó mọ̀ pé mo yanjú kọ́mọ nílé mi pé mo yanjú kọ́mọ ládùúgbò pé mo yanjú kọ́mọ nínú ìlú pé mo yanjú kọ́mọ lórílẹ̀‐èdè pé mo yanjú kọ́mọ lágbàáyé pé mo yanjú lórúkọ alájà Bàsírátù ọlọ́run ṣèmi ládé ẹjú ọmọ.
ìyá mi ń wo mi inú ẹ̀ ń dùn bàbá mi ń wo mi inú ẹ̀ ń dùn bẹ́ẹ̀ rọ́mọ mi kínú mi ó dùn má fi mi pa àwọn tó bí mi lẹ́kùn sátì àmàjẹ́.
ẹ sàmí níbẹ̀ yẹn má bí mi pa àwọn tó bí mi lẹ́kùn.
sátì àmàjẹ́.
ọlọ́mọ níjà má bí ẹ pa àwọn tó bí ẹ lẹ́kùn.
sátì àmàjẹ́ sunkún ọmọ.
ọyá kò ṣe má èrò ọ̀tá mi ò ṣe mọ́ o ọlọ́run tí fòpin sẹ́rù ìgbẹ́nu dání.
kò ṣe mọ́ èrò ọ̀tá mi kò ṣe mọ́ o ọlọ́run tí fòpin sẹ́rí ẹnu wọn.
àtàmì ló wù pé kí n tẹ́ òun ní kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi. ní ìdálẹ́ ló wù mí ló wù mí ló wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi. àtàmì ló wù kí kájú kú kò wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi. kí dàgbà kí dògbò ló wù mí
ló wù mí ló wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
àtàmì ló wù kí n ṣàṣetì kò wù mí
kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
àṣeyọrí ló máa wù mí
ló wù mí ló wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
ẹtí ìbọn àtàmì ló wù kí n lálùwálẹ̀.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
àlùyọ ló máa ń wù mí o.
ló wù mí ló wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
àwọn ló wù kí n yá légbé.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
kí n kọ́lé àkọ́gbé mọ́ wù mí.
ló wù mí ló wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
àwọn ló wù kí n máa mọ́ kádà kí.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
kíní ká tó kọ́ lè wù mí o.
ló wù mí ló wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
ọ̀tá mi ló wù kí n wáyé lásán lásán.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
kò tiẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́dàá mi nígbà kankan.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
kò tiẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́dàá mi nígbà kankan.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
kò tiẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́dàá mi nígbà kankan.
ló wù mí kò wẹ́ ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
ìráyé wa ló máa ń wù mí ló wù mí ló wẹ́.
ẹlẹ́dàá mi.
sọ fún wọn kò ṣe má àní kò ṣe má wọn ò tí ì gbọ́ kò ṣe má mo tún wí kò ṣe má èrò ọ̀tá mi ò ṣe má ọlọ́run tí mo pín sẹ́rìn nù ẹgbà wọn lẹ́nu.
èrò ọ̀tá mi ò ṣe mọ́ o ọlọ́run tí kò pín sẹ́rí ẹnu wọn.
wọ́n sọ pé gbó nílé ọ̀bọ kì í gbélé o dákúndá tàmí yóò dọ̀bọ̀ kó máa wọ́ fìlé wọn sígbó.
wọ́n sọ pé gbó nílé ọ̀bọ kì í ṣe lé o ọlọ́run tó bá mi yóò dọ̀bọ̀ kó máa wọ́gbọ́n lọ.
ta ní kàn yẹn ọ̀tá kéré.
ta ní kàn yọ ọ̀tá kéré.
ta ní kàn yẹn ọ̀tá kéré.
ta ní kàn yọ ọ̀tá kéré.
ẹ má kàn yẹn ọ̀tá kéré.
ẹ má kàn yọ ọ̀tá kéré.
ọ̀tá ló lànàbì nílé.
ọ̀tá ló lànàbì nílé.
ọ̀tá ló dààmú ànàbì.
ọ̀tá ló dààmú ànàbì.
àwọn ọ̀tá ànàbì lè mọ̀.
àwọn ọ̀tá ànàbì lè mọ̀.
súrọ̀tù Yásìn torí ọ̀tá ni.
súrọ̀tù Yásìn torí ọ̀tá ni.
alámúdára kẹfà torí ọ̀tá ni.
alámúdára kẹfà torí ọ̀tá ni.
àtàbà ti yàtà torí ọ̀tá ni.
tàbá ti yàtà torí ọ̀tá ni.
àìmọye àyà nínú Kùránì àìmọye súra nínú Kùránì tọ́lọ́hún fi gégùn lórí ọ̀tá àkọlọ́hún ṣẹ́gun ọ̀tá mi fún mi wá.
sọ pé gbónílé ọ̀bọ kì í gbélé o ọlọ́njọ́ ta ni yóò dọ̀bọ̀ kó máa wọ́gbọ́n lọ.
àṣeyìn á sí fáwọn ọ̀tá mi.
àṣeyìn á sí fáwọn ọ̀tá mi.
láìsí kan máa nìṣó lọ́rùn.
láìsí kan máa nìṣó lọ́rùn.
gàṣígàṣí nǹkan jẹ ló pa wọ́n.
gàṣígàṣí ìtọ́jẹ́ ló pa wọ́n.
ṣàgìsísì ọlọ́run mú wọn. ṣàgìsísì ọlọ́run mú wọn. ìgbín òní ìrìn kóra láàánú.
ìgbé òní ìrìn kóra láàánú.
àmì òníra. ìgbín òní ìbákòrò lóore.
ìgbé òní ìfàkóró lóore.
ọ̀tá mi ò ní ró lóore.
ọ̀tá mi ò ní ró lóore.
iṣẹ́ àjèrè nínú omi.
iṣẹ́ àjèrè nínú omi.
iṣẹ́ àjèrè nínú odò.
iṣẹ́ àjèrè nínú odò.
àṣedànù níṣẹ́ àjèrè.
àṣedànù níṣẹ́ àjèrè.
gbogbo sẹ́tọ̀tà mi bá ṣe.
gbogbo iṣẹ́ tọ́ta mi bá ṣe.
àṣedànù níṣẹ́ ọ̀tá mi.
àṣedànù
ẹ
níṣẹ́
máa jó lọ àṣedànù níṣẹ́ ọ̀tá mi.
àṣedànù
ẹ
níṣẹ́
máa
ọ̀tá
sá
mi.
mi àṣedànù níṣẹ́ ọ̀tá mi.
àṣedànù níṣẹ́ ọ̀tá mi.
ibikíbi lákòókò yóò ilé ní aláwa ń bàdàn 99.1 àwa la jẹ́ nọ́mbà 1 máa ń jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ bó ti ṣe ń lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn ètò tó táwọn yọ àtàwọn ìròyìn tó fọgbọ́n yọ àti ìpolówó ọjà tó mú ní ìtàlẹ̀ ṣẹkẹṣẹ àwa la nìyẹn ibikíbi lákòókò yo rédíò Amúlùdùn láyé ń bá kétékété Moniya láwa ń bàdàn rédíò Amúlùdùn láyé ń bá kétékété. Amúlùdùn FM 99.1 ní Moniya ń bàdàn ló máa ń múlò àwa dùn.
àjùwọ̀n lọ kò ṣe sọ lọ́rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò ṣe wí lọ́jọ́ àjùwọ̀n lọ kò ṣe sọ lọ́rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò ṣe wí lọ́jọ́. ọ̀gá nìkan láwùjọ òkúta ìyọ̀lọ̀gá láwùjọ yẹpẹ́ ní táwọn yọ Amúlùdùn FM 99.1 ọ̀gá la jẹ́. gbọ́ orinlẹ̀ dáadáa ìròyìn àsìkò yìí ó ń gbọ́ orinlẹ̀ dáadáa olówó ọjà kájẹ́ bùgbàjẹ́ ń gbọ́ orinlẹ̀ dáadáa ètò lóríṣiríṣi ń gbọ́ orinlẹ̀ dáadáa yéyéyé kórè dáná ọmọ ńlá sọ wípé adìyẹ funfun ṣálábà adìyẹ Amúlùdùn FM 99.1 gbogbo wọn ti gbà pọ̀gá la jẹ́.
Samu'i inda Allah dana basori inda Allah la ilaha illallah la ilaha illallah Muhammadu ya Rasulullah ya Rabbi bil Mustafa balagh maqasidana waghfir lana ma madha ya wasi'al karami la ilaha illallah Muhammadu ya Rasulullah mo fi pèpè kan lọ́run jápé mi mo kanlẹ̀kùn kan lọ́run ṣínà mi mo ti bèrè kan lọ́run ó bùn mi mo ṣàlàyé kan lọ́run gbọ́rọ̀ mi mo ti bẹ̀bẹ̀ kan lọ́run gbẹ́bẹ̀ mi ohun tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dákun ṣe ọlọ́run ṣe kí wọ́n màmá ló máa pèrè pè mí náà jọ̀wọ́ ọlọ́run ọba. Muhammadu ya Rasulullah ọba òkè olórí ayé gbọ́dìrú ní kápá ayé Gálíbù olórí ayé Lẹ́tífù aláàánú ayé Rọ̀sáàkù apínkárí ayé Básítù ẹni tẹ́lẹ̀ ayé Wàhábù ọlọ́rẹ̀ tó láyé Jàwádù afúnni tí kì í sùn dákun jọ̀wọ́ ta mí lọ́rẹ̀ dákun jọ̀wọ́ ta mí lọ́rẹ̀ kẹ́ra ló gbà ń tẹ́ wọn kọrin. Muhammadu ya Rasulullah. Amúdàlà ọpẹ́ Ọlọ́run ó ṣe. Amúdàlà ọpẹ́ Ọlọ́run ó ṣe. Bí pé mo sùn lánàá ó jẹ́ kí n jí jíjí tí mo jí mo gbọ́ pọ̀lọ́ jí tápá tẹsẹ̀ mi ló bá mi jí àtẹ̀jí àtọ́jú ló bá mi jí ẹ̀yà ara mi ló bá mi jí. Àwọn kan sùn ní jíjí tán máa jí wọ́n jí wọn tí wọ́n ṣàgbàgbọ́ ikú ẹbí wọn wá jí sọ́wọ́ ẹkún wọn ló tún jára yìí ni àwọn kan dẹ̀ wà ní jíjí tán máa jí dìgbàdìgbà láyé ń gbé wọn ká ẹbí wọn ò lè sọ bó ṣe wọn àwọn kan ò lè sọ bó ṣe jẹ́. Mo rá bàbá fún bọ́ lọ́hùn wípé mo sùn mo jí sínú orin. La ilaha illallah Muhammadu ya Rasulullah. Bismillah ibi sọ́kìyà mo múra mo fẹ́ máa jẹ́
in the firm action. The ultimatum was declared by the national president of NAM, Comrade Haruna Mamman, at a news briefing in Abuja following an emergency meeting of the association's National Executive Council. The presidency has stated that there is no link between the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima's remarks at a book launch and some online speculations. Speaking with State House correspondents at the Presidential Villa Abuja, the spokesman of the Vice President, Mr. Stanley Nkwocha, expressed concern that certain online news outlets and individuals had distorted the Vice President's comments during the public presentation of the book OPL 245, the inside story of the $1.3 billion oil block by Muhammad Bello Adoke San, in what he described as a pursuit of a mischievous agenda. According to Mr. Nkwocha, the sensational reporting, which stripped the Vice President's remarks of its proper context, ventured into fiction by drawing a false equivalence between his personal experience and the state of emergency declared in Rivers State. He further explained that Vice President Shettima supports President Tinubu in the implementation of these difficult but necessary measures to safeguard the country's democracy. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio has congratulated the Governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, on his confirmation as the duly elected candidate in the September 2024 gubernatorial elections in Edo State. Senator Akpabio, in a congratulatory message, described the Supreme Court's verdict as the triumph of democracy. He said what the Apex Court had done is to affirm the will and wishes of the overwhelming majority of the people of Edo State regarding the transparency, freeness and fairness of the election. The Senate President assured the Governor of the state's support, of the Senate's support that is, and collaboration in ensuring the state's progress and development. Stakeholders have advocated a sustained public enlightenment by tax authorities through regular engagement of the media as effective tool for easy dissemination of tax-related messages. This is contained in a communique issued at the end of a one-day sensitization program in Abuja on the role of the media in voluntary tax compliance. Participants expressed the view that engaging the media through regular briefings, town halls and feedbacks would ensure ethical reportage, thereby building clear basic understanding of tax principles and policies among the people that would enhance public trust and promote tax compliance. During the opening, the convener and technical advisor to the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ronke Atoyebi, acknowledged the roles of participants, adding that their presence underscored the need for sustained collaboration between the media and tax authorities in advancing public awareness and accountability. The Minister of Youth Development, Comrade Ayodele Olawande, has embarked on a strategic mission to the United Arab Emirates for international partnerships to advance youth innovation, enterprise and digital capacity building. During a high-level engagement with the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Center, SHARA, a leading institution in youth enterprise and innovation, the Minister explored areas of collaboration in support of President Bola Tinubu's Nigerian Youth Academy, NIA. The initiative aims to empower over 7 million young Nigerians with digital skills, entrepreneurial training, civic leadership development, and access to international opportunities.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Thank God, finally, network don't gree pick up. Finally, wait till they solve my brother. Don't they boss your while I said tomorrow, no day, no response. My brother, make you no vessel. Now, network from my area don't close scatter. Some area boys come vandalize the telecom mast. Wait they here. Them try for my area too, but our people no gree. Now, so we take some vigilante. Now, they don't they got that mass and I said, now, oh yeah, where? That one a smart move. I could tell my neighbor make the table this matter for our CDA meeting. Now, so it's supposed to be. Once them break mast or cut fiber cable, everywhere go just jam like Zena traffic for road. School go down, hospital go slow, even bank na the whole economy na the connect flat. Vandalizing telecom infrastructure they affect everybody. If your eye jam anything wey no pure, make you dial 622 from any network or send mail go protect@ncc.gov.ng. This message now from mobile network operators and tower companies with full backing plus support from the Nigerian Communications Commission.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Thank you for staying tuned. As we reported earlier, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, NAM, has issued a 50-day ultimatum to the federal government to review the recently released curricula on revised remuneration for nurses or face industrial action. The ultimatum was declared by the national president of NAM, Comrade Haruna Mamman, at a news briefing in Abuja following an emergency meeting of the association's National Executive Council. Comrade Mamman stated that the curricula issued by the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission on the review of health workers' allowances failed to meet the expectations of nurses and midwives across the country.
In view of the failure of the federal government to positively respond to the association's demand and protest against the recent circular, the NEC resolved to issue a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government with effect from Monday, 14th July 2025. If at the expiration of the 15 days ultimatum, no concrete and satisfactory steps are taken by the federal government to address NAM's demand, nurses and midwives across Nigeria shall embark a 7-day warning strike.
Comrade Bowman described the contents as grossly inadequate, discriminatory and unreflective of the critical roles nurses and midwives play in the healthcare system. Also speaking, the first vice president of NAM, Comrade Jonathan Lanipia, noted that while the association has remained peaceful and cooperative, it is now compelled to consider industrial action as the last resort. The association therefore reaffirmed its commitment to the welfare of its members and the advancement of nursing and midwifery practice in Nigeria, but warned that continued neglect could trigger a nationwide strike. The National Universities Commission, NUC, has given approval for the establishment of the Ebonyi State University of Aeronautics and Aerospace Engineering, EZA Ebonyi State. Presenting the letter of recognition to the Governor of Ebonyi State, Mr. Francis Wifro, at the ceremony in Abuja, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Abdullahi Ribadu, stated that the university would only commence operations after an assessment of its facilities. He said the Commission would provide the necessary support for the university to achieve its objective. Professor Ribadu, however, advised the Ebonyi State government to give equal attention to the 3 state-owned institutions and rotate TED fund interventions to ensure standards and overall development of the universities.
It's not automatic that tomorrow you can admit students. There's still a process. Do what is called resource modification. We assess the material and human infrastructure present and that modification. Then we give you the go-ahead to commence the process of admission. And now that you have 3 state universities, you should be very fair and treat them all.
The Governor of Ebonyi State, Mr. Francis Wifro, represented by the Deputy Governor, Princess Patricia Obila, explained that the Ebonyi State University of Aeronautics and Aerospace Engineering was a specialized institution that would equip Nigerians with the necessary skills in aviation technology and engineering within the state and the continent. Princess Obila said it would also create opportunities for its citizens in a high-demand global sector.
Every university has its own discipline, and by the time we open this university, it will help our people to be trained in that direction too, because we have a lot of talent in that area that we need to tap.
The Ebonyi State University of Aeronautics and Aerospace Engineering is now the 69th state-owned university in the country and brings the number of universities in Nigeria to 300. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, has called on the National Assembly to enact legislation to ban open grazing and provide ranching alternatives for herders. Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, who made the call in Abuja while speaking at the National Summit on Food, Nutrition and Food Security, organized by the House Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, pointed out that the Nigerian Army had established various formations aimed at preventing farmer-herder clashes. Represented by the Executive Director of Nigerian Army Farms and Ranch, Major General Olufemi Dari, the Chief of Army Staff emphasized that urgent adoption of ranching as a national policy would help address Nigeria's growing food insecurity, insisting that open grazing was no longer sustainable. The chairman of the House Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, Dr. Chike Okafo, reaffirmed the committee's commitment to ensuring a safer and food-secure Nigeria, adding that peace and security were vital for both farmers and security agencies alike. The People's Republic of China has launched a magazine program, Ni Hao China, on the network service of Radio Nigeria to enhance basic knowledge of Chinese culture, their traditions, technology, food and society. During the inauguration of the program in Abuja, the Director General of FRCN, Dr. Mohammed Bulama, explained that the relationship between the two countries was taking global significance. Diplomatic correspondent Sandra DK reports.
The weekly magazine program, Ni Hao China, meaning Hello China, will have different segments, but with special emphasis on the teaching of Chinese language, Mandarin, to Nigerians every Wednesday by 5 o'clock in the evening on the network service of Radio Nigeria. During the inauguration of the program in Abuja, the Director General of FRCN, Dr. Mohammed Bulama, explained that Radio Nigeria was towing the part of the federal government who created a special office for interaction with China.
Nigeria now has a Director General and a Global Liaison of Nigeria Strategic Partnership, Ambassador Joseph Tegbe. Nigeria recognizes that China is a very important and strategic country in the world. But it is assuming more significance every day.
Dr. Bulama, while giving an assurance of Radio Nigeria's commitment, explained that China had last year signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Information and that the program was part of the implementation. The Director of Programs in FRCM, Mrs. Tsushima Ki, explained that the program was originally targeted at only language learning but was expanded by the FRCN Director General.
The proposal was for teaching of Chinese language on our network service, but while we were considering that, our DG saw the need for us to touch on other aspects of the Chinese people.
The Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Yu Duhai, stated that the partnership with Nigeria was not only anchored on government-to-government relations, but that it had eventually boiled down to people-to-people relations.
The Ni Hao China program, it will provide a new platform for Nigerian Chinese language learners and those interested in China to learn Chinese and understand China.
The language instructor on the program, Ya Ping, explained that it will be an opportunity for Nigerians to learn the real Mandarin and experience more Chinese culture and traditions. In Abuja, Sandra Odike, Radio Nigeria.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
In continuation of the public awareness by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, this Saturday's edition of Radio Link will be looking at protecting critical national information infrastructure. Our guests shall be the Director, Technical Standards and Network Integrity, NCC, Engineer Edoyemi Obo. You can be part of the program by dialing 0915 091 0482, 0915 091 0483, and 0808-281-4453. You can also send us emails on frcncurrentaffairs@yahoo.com. Radio Link takes the air every Saturday on the network service of Radio Nigeria from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Join us.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The Emeritus Catholic Archbishop of Abuja Diocese, John Cardinal Onoyiko, wants the federal government to re-examine its economic policies in the interest of the people. He made the call at an empowerment program for 5,000 indigent persons in Unuchima, Idato South local government area of Imo State. Cardinal Onoyiko noted that the harsh economic situation in the country had made it difficult for many Nigerians to feed their families, hence the need for the review of the policies.
Responsible men reach a stage where they can no longer feed their families. I've seen it in the face of some of the policies should be changed so that ordinary people will begin to be proud of being Nigerians, and our young brilliant boys will not be seeking how to escape from this country.
The organizer organizer of the event, the Reverend Father Maurice Emelu, said the gesture, which was extended to persons across the southeast states, was a way of giving the downtrodden in the society a sense of belonging. The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and the senator representing Imo West in the National Assembly, Chief Osita Izunaso, called on the government and wealthy individuals to support the less privileged in the society. The remains of Parmako Lakumbi Dare has been put to rest today at the Gudu Cemetery, Abuja. At the interment service in honor of the deceased at Fellowship Baptist Church, Kado, Abuja, Reverend Shegun Dare, who described Pa Dare as dedicated, hardworking and generous, urged people, irrespective of their faith, to prepare and think about what will happen to them after death.
After this line, that's what we should ponder on. Revelation 20 tells me something. If anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of hellfire. I only want to remind us that there is eternity and tell us the path to take to get there.
Some of the children of the deceased, Oluwasegun, Babafemi and Biodun Dare of Radio Nigeria Network News Directorate, described their father as an epitome of hard work and honesty.
My dad was very honest, hardworking and very strict. So those are words I would use to always remember him. Yes, he was a very good man, very kind, very accommodating. He actually supported us. He's gentle, so rest in peace.
Late Parmako Okumbi Dare, aged 78, retired with the Federal Ministry of Information as chief photographer. Our correspondent reports that management and members of staff from FRCN headquarters, including Director Programs, Mrs. Sushma Ki, Deputy Directors of News, Mrs. Folashade Orimolade, Zacchaeus Babalola, and members of staff attended the event.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Live from the heart of the African continent.
What's shaping the future of Africa? From headline-making decisions in Africa capitals to climate crisis, economic reforms, cultural breakthroughs, and diplomacy that matters.
Get the full picture on Africa this week. Radio Nigeria's weekly current affairs program, bringing you in-depth reports, expert analysis, and voices from across the continent.
Conflict go hand in hand with humanitarian because in times of conflict, people are eating.
Join us every Friday by 5 p.m. right here on the network service of Radio Nigeria.
Africa this week, where Africa speaks and the world listens.
This is Africa this week. Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Next is sports, and
Paris arrived the Czech Republic to begin the campaign at the Federation of International Basketball Association FIBA Under-19 Women's World Cup, scheduled to tip off this weekend. Drawn into Group B, the team will open their tournament tomorrow with a challenging fixture against China. The second group game follows on Sunday, July 13 against Canada before wrapping up play against Portugal on Tuesday, July 15. The Under-19 girls team is led by head coach Faustina Ahere, Juliana, and supported by assistant coaches Neve Gifa, Atonye, and Usua Chinedu Stone. 16 nations will compete for honors at the FIBA Under-19 Women's World Cup from tomorrow through to the 20th in the 16th edition of the tournament taking place in the city of Brno, Czech Republic. In tennis, Poland's Iga Swiatek is now just one victory away from a first senior Wimbledon title. The Pole has been growing in confidence all tournament and was calmness personified in her 6-6 love semi-final victory over Belinda Bencic. That lasted just on 72 minutes. The 24-year-old who won the girls' title 7 years ago but had never been beyond the quarterfinals in the main event until now, said she was surprised herself with her form on grass. Up next for Swiatek is Amanda Anisimova, who dealt out more Grand Slam heartbreak to world number one Arina Sabalenka of Belarus. American Anisimova, or the 13th seed waved and blew kisses to the crowd after securing a remarkable 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 victory on a blazing hot day on Center Court. The 23-year-old saved 11 one of 14 break points she faced to seal her place in the maiden Grand Slam final. That's the latest in the exciting world of sports. Back to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Alma. The spotlight is on the grand finale of the Niger Delta Development Commission's 25th anniversary. It is written by Sir Lady Thompson Wakama, Director, Corporate Affairs, NDDC.
25 years into any project should produce tangible results if the actors of such a course are committed and dedicated with sincerity of purpose. That is what the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has been doing in carrying out its core mandate of multifaceted developments in the Niger Delta region, covering 9 oil-producing states of Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, Imo, Ondo, and Rivers. The NDDC have set a week to introspect, self-assessment, and to celebrate its achievements since inception in what is tagged NDDC at 25. This engaging event, which began with a Thanksgiving service on the 6th of this month at St. Thomas Anglican Church in Akure, Ondo State, will now have the grand finale tomorrow in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Suffice to state that the Silver Jubilee train had on the 7th of this month stopped at the Dome Event Center in Asaba, Delta State, for a World Press Conference and movie premiere of a feature film with the title Making a Difference. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Samuel Obuku, used these opportunities to tell the NDDC story, its journey, impact, and plans for the future to members of the press and the general public, stressing that keying into and fulfillment of the renewed hope agenda of the federal government is the way to go. It then moved to the landmark event center in Owerri, Imo State, on 9th of this month for the Youth and Women Conference that empowered team-in participants with the requisite ideas to becoming entrepreneurs, skills developers, and job creators. Building up to the last lap yesterday, the city of Port Harcourt, headquarters of the Commission, witnessed Arts and Cultural Carnival, which showcased the rich cultural heritage of the Niger Delta State with a pulsating parade from the Polo Club in GRA to the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Ekahia. Tomorrow's plenary of the week-long celebration of NDDC's 25 years of making a difference in the Niger Delta is scheduled to feature 2 remarkable events at 2 centers in one city, Port Harcourt. Top government functionaries, leaders of thought, critical stakeholders, development partners, traditional rulers, women and youth will converge at the Obiwale International Conference Center for the plenary. Scheduled for 10 o'clock in the morning, the EPAC event is expected to have Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization, to deliver the keynote address. It will have a drop of the curtains with a gala night featuring awards to founding fathers for their commitment and dedication, while the crowning of Miss Niger Delta Beauty Queen is to spice up the night at the EUI Event Center in Port Harcourt. The events are expected to be successfully and logically concluded as preparations are in top gear, including live broadcasts on national televisions. Kudos must be given to the chairman of the board, Mr. Chinedu Ebie, the managing director, Dr. Samuel Obuku, Alagbo Womalai, Esquire, DSSRS, the executive director of finance and administration, who doubles as the chairman of the 25th anniversary Central Planning Committee, Sir Victor Antwi, the executive director, projects, and Chief Ifedayo Abegunde, the executive director, corporate services, as well as the entire governing board and management of the NDDC, not leaving out the staff of the commission for living up to expectations as an interventionist. Though it is still work in progress, the Niger Delta people can safely say the NDDC pain saw and is conquering with a mission to offering lasting solutions to the socio-economic difficulties in the region. It is therefore the wish and prayers of every Niger Deltan that the NDDC continues to record more milestones in its post-25th anniversary.
That spotlight on the grand finale of the Niger Delta Development Commission's 25th anniversary was written by Saledi Thompson Wakama and read by Jeremiah Jime. For weather, Abuja, Lagos, Yola, Asaba, Owerri, Enugu, Makurdi, Sokoto, Ilorin and Ondo are experiencing mixed sunshine at temperatures ranging from 29 to 35 degrees Celsius, while Calabar is cloudy with temperature at 27 degrees Celsius. To end the news, here's a recap of the major stories. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, NAN, has issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government to review the recently released curricula on revised remuneration for nurses or face industrial action. The National Universities Commission, NUC, has given approval for the establishment of the Ebonyi State University of Aeronautics and Aerospace Engineering, EZA, Ebonyi State. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, has called on the National Assembly to enact legislation to ban open grazing and provide ranching alternatives for herders. Also reported that Emeritus Catholic Archbishop of Abuja Diocese, John Cardinal Onoyuko, wants the federal government to re-examine its economic policies in the interest of the people. That's the news. Edited by Emmanuel Kutara and the production team. I am Rachel Bola. Next on the network service of Radio Nigeria is Hajj, the spiritual journey.
Ibikíbi lákòókò yóò ìlọ́ní aláwa ń bàdàn 99.1 àwa la jẹ́ nọ́mbà 1 máa ń jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ bó ti ṣe ń lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn ètò tó táwọn yọ àtàwọn èrè tó fọgbọ́n yọ àti ìpolówó ọjà tó mú ní ìtàlẹ̀ ṣẹkẹṣẹ àwa la nìyẹn. Ibikíbi lákòókò yóò